I'm Tina Hughes, the Director of Marketing and Digital Channels here at Yorkshire Building Society. Thank you to everyone that sent in a question. It's great to hear from so many of our members and learn what's important to you. This event and the answers we will provide are not intended as financial advice, and the best course of action for you will depend on your personal circumstances. We're joined by Max Shepherd, our group economist, and Max is going to help us answer some questions on the economy and interest rates. So Max, can you tell us about how interest rates have changed in 2025 and what the expectations are for the rest of the year?
Yes, thanks, Tina. So in terms of 2025, we started the year with the Bank of England base rate at 4.75%. We've had two interest rate cuts this year so far, so one in February and one in May, taking base rate to 4.25% today. In terms of what's expected for the rest of 2025, so we're expecting two more interest rate cuts this year, so two 0.25% interest rate cuts expected for the rest of 2025, leaving base rate at 3.75% at the end of this year. But this expectation can change all the time and is influenced by economic data, updated forecasts, as well as global economic developments and headlines. So this can change all the time.
And how have those changes impacted the savings and mortgage market specifically?
Yeah, so we'll start with the savings market. So every time the Bank of England reduced their base rate, the savings providers will likely reduce your variable savings rate shortly after. And you'll be notified of this through the post or email, depending on your preferences. So each time this happens, it's worth assessing whether this product still provides good value for you following that interest rate reduction. So that's always worth looking at. Fixed rate bonds inherently won't be impacted by base rate reductions, although when your fixed rate product matures, you then need to see what product next suits you best. Moving on to the mortgage market, so those on base rate tracker products will see a reduction in their interest as base rate falls, and fixed rate mortgage rates will be unaffected until that product matures. But generally speaking, falling interest rates is a positive for potential first-time buyers, for home movers, and those coming up for a remortgage, for a couple of reasons. So first and foremost, the foundation of mortgage pricing is the average of where base rate is today and where it will be when your product ends. So for a 2-year mortgage product, it's the average of base rate today and where it will be in 2 years' time. And for a 5-year product, it's the average of where base rate is today and where it will be in 5 years' time. And as we've seen these expectations trend downwards over the last couple of years, mortgage rates have also fallen gradually over the last couple of years, meaning lower interest payments. So that's the first positive. And the second one is mortgage lenders have to stress test when they're assessing affordability for their potential customers. And they use the stressed interest rate when determining whether or not you can afford that mortgage. And at present, they're indirectly linked to base rate. So for example, if a lender's stress rate is 7%, they will assess whether or not you can afford the mortgage payments with a 7% interest rate, regardless of your current product rate or offered product rate. So as base rate has fallen, as have stress rates, therefore more people can take higher loans and still pass those affordability criteria. So that's a positive for potential first-time buyers and those remortgaging as well onto higher balances.
Okay, so some changes afoot, but some potential benefits there for those first-time buyers, which is great to hear. Max, I want to take you to the volatility in the political landscape at the moment. How does that affect mortgages and savings rates?
Yeah, so there's been lots of uncertainty this year, lots of volatility in the global economic environment. So we've had US tariff announcements, we've had world conflicts, so in Ukraine, the escalation in the Middle East, and all of this is impacting interest rate expectations globally and then also in the UK, meaning mortgage pricing is changing quite a lot as lenders have to react to that changing operating environment. The UK economy, though, has been quite resilient so far in terms of in response to the global volatility, and the economy grew faster than we expected in the first quarter of this year, has started to slow down in the second quarter, although we're not in a recession as of yet. Inflation is still above target, but wages are growing faster than the rate of inflation, which means people on average should be feeling slightly better off, which is obviously good news in our economy. And unemployment has risen a little bit, but redundancy rates are still stable. So we're not seeing a massive deterioration in the labour market. There still are jobs available, but it's just probably slowing down a little bit. So overall, the UK actually is managing the global volatility fairly well, and we hope then that continues for the second half of 2025.
We do. Thank you, Max. Thanks for answering those questions.
Thank you.
Thanks, Max, for joining us. and thanks to all of you at home. If you enjoyed hearing from our members and our directors answering your questions, please check out YouTube for our other videos.